Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that might shock you. Most people fail before they even start. Yes, before the first step, before the first move, before the first attempt, they're already defeated. Why? Not because life is unfair, not because success is reserved for the lucky few, but because they lose the battle in their mind before it ever becomes a reality in the world. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? And then tomorrow comes, and guess what? You say the same thing again. It's like waiting for the perfect weather to fly a kite. Spoiler alert, there is no perfect weather. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for all the stars to align, for conditions to be flawless, for permission from the universe. Meanwhile, their dreams sit in the corner, gathering dust like old gym equipment. Napoleon Hill said, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right." But people do the opposite. They overthink, over-plan, and over-worry until their motivation evaporates. It's like inflating a balloon, then poking holes in it yourself. By the time they're ready to take off, all the air is gone. Here's the funny part. Most of us aren't beaten by the world. We're beaten by the voices in our own heads. Those voices whisper things like, "What if I fail? What will people think? Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I should wait." And the funniest excuse, "I don't have enough time." Yet the same person has time to binge, watch 3 seasons of a Netflix series in one weekend. Oh, the irony! The truth is, fear of failure, perfectionism, and procrastination are the real thieves of dreams. It's not the competitor, it's not the economy, it's not the lack of opportunity, it's hesitation. Hesitation is the silent assassin of greatness. By the time some people decide to move, someone else has already crossed the finish line. So why do most people fail before they start? Because they never truly start. They confuse planning with progress, excuses with logic, and waiting with wisdom. But success doesn't wait for anyone. Opportunity doesn't knock politely. It barges in, and if you're not ready to grab it, it leaves for someone else. Life rewards the bold, not the hesitant. The courageous, not the complainers. The doors, not the dreamers who only dream one. The illusion of the perfect time. One of the biggest reasons people fail before they even start is because they fall for the illusion of the perfect time. You know the script. I'll start my business when I have more money. I'll go to the gym when life slows down. I'll chase my dream when the kids are grown, when the bills are paid, when the timing is better. But here's the harsh truth. There will never be a perfect time. Life is like the weather, unpredictable, messy, full of storms and sunshine mixed together. If you're waiting for the skies to clear before you take off, you'll spend your whole life grounded. Think about it. The person who waits for the perfect time to get healthy usually waits until they're forced into the hospital. The person who waits for the perfect time to start their dream job usually retires in the same cubicle they always hated. And the person who waits for the perfect time to start their passion project usually watches someone else do it while saying, "I had that idea once." The illusion of perfect timing is a clever trick of the mind. It makes procrastination look wise. It makes fear look reasonable. It tells you, you're not avoiding your dream, you're just being smart. You're just being patient. But patience without action is just a polite form of self-sabotage. Napoleon Hill once said, "Do not wait. The time will never be just right." And he was right. There will always be bills to pay. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to wait. If you want to start a business, start with what you have. If you want to get fit, start with a walk today. If you want to write a book, write a single page. And here's the fun part. When you start, even if conditions aren't perfect, momentum creates its own magic. Opportunities show up when you move. Resources appear when you act. Doors open when you knock, not when you stand on the porch hoping someone notices you. Imagine if pilots waited for completely clear skies before flying. We'd have no flights. Imagine if parents waited until life was calm and easy before having kids. Humanity would have ended centuries ago. And imagine if you wait until your life is perfect. Before you start, your dream will die waiting. The world doesn't reward the ones who wait for perfection. It rewards the ones who start messy, imperfect, scared, but moving forward anyway. 2. Fear of failure before action. Another reason most people fail before they even start is because they allow fear to dominate the stage before they've even spoken their first line. Fear of failure is like a loud heckler in your head, shouting down your confidence before you've even taken a step forward. You know how it goes. You think of an idea, your heart races with excitement for a moment, But then the fear monster sneaks in. What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I lose money? What if I'm not good enough? And just like that, the dream that was ready to breathe gets strangled before it takes its first breath. Here's the funny thing about fear. It's like worrying about falling off a bike when you haven't even sat on the seat yet. You haven't pedaled, you haven't moved, you haven't even touched the handlebars. But already your mind is picturing you flat on the ground with a bruised knee. Napoleon Hill taught that fear is the greatest enemy of success. And he was right. Fear creates a movie in your head, a scary film where everything goes wrong. The business fails, everyone mocks you, you're broke, you're embarrassed, and the whole town whispers your name in shame. But here's the catch: that movie only exists in your imagination. Reality hasn't even started rolling yet. Think about kids. A child doesn't fear failure the way adults do. They try to walk, fall on their face, get up, and try again. They're not embarrassed. They don't say, "Walking just isn't for me." They keep at it until they succeed. But as adults, we let fear whisper, "Don't even try. You might look foolish." Isn't it strange? We admire a baby for trying, but we shame ourselves for doing the same. Fear of failure is also tricky because it disguises itself as logic. Your mind will tell you, "I'm not scared. I'm just being practical." But practicality often becomes a shield to hide the truth. You're terrified of failing. Here's the motivational twist. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is the teacher. Every failure carries a lesson, and those lessons shape success. Edison failed 1,000 times before he created the light bulb. Do you think he sat in the dark worrying about looking silly? No. He knew every failed attempt was just one step closer to the breakthrough. But when you let fear stop you before you begin, you deny yourself even the chance to learn. You rob yourself of the growth that comes from falling down and getting back up. You're like a boxer who refuses to enter the ring because you might get punched. Of course you might. But you also might win. And here's where the fun comes in. Most of the fears we build in our heads are exaggerated. We imagine ourselves failing in front of millions when, in reality, most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to care about your stumble. Your embarrassing moment is barely a blip on someone else's radar. So the real tragedy isn't failure itself. It's failing before you even start, because fear convinced you to stay on the sidelines. 3. Overthinking instead of doing. One of the most silent killers of dreams is not laziness, not lack of talent, not even bad luck. It's overthinking. The endless cycle of planning, analyzing, and second, guessing that keeps people trapped in their own minds. Overthinking feels productive, doesn't it? You tell yourself, "I'm just making sure I'm ready." You make lists. You read books. You watch tutorials. You talk to friends about your big plans. You brainstorm names for your business. You think and think and think. But here's the reality. You're mistaking motion for progress. It's like rocking in a rocking chair. Lots of movement, but you're not going anywhere. Or like sitting at a buffet, reading the menu over and over again, while everyone else is eating. At some point, you've got to put the fork in your hand and taste the food. Napoleon Hill warned that indecision and doubt are two of the deadliest enemies of success. Overthinking is what happens when those two enemies hold hands. You don't move forward because you're busy asking, "What if it doesn't work? What if I pick the wrong idea? What if I'm not ready?" Here's the problem. Thinking too much creates imaginary problems. You end up solving issues that don't even exist yet. You create obstacles in your head that never actually happen in real life. It's like worrying about traffic on a road you haven't even driven on. And here's the fun twist: life rewards action, not excessive contemplation. Nobody ever changed the world by sitting in their room writing pros and cons lists for 10 years. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple by just thinking about computers. He got into a garage, messed around with wires, failed a dozen times, and figured it out by doing. Action creates clarity. You might not know the full map, but once you take one step, the next step reveals itself. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the first step. But when you overthink, you paralyze yourself. You stand at the bottom of the staircase, drawing diagrams of each step, worrying about the 20th step, when all you really need is the courage to lift your foot. Overthinking also drains energy. The more you sit and stew, the more your excitement dies. What starts as a fire in your heart becomes ashes in your mind because you suffocated it with too many what-ifs. The truth. You don't need to have all the answers before you begin. You just need to begin. Perfection isn't built in the planning. It's built in the process. And here's something funny. Most of the things we overthink about don't even matter 6 months later. You won't care if your first logo was ugly. You won't care if your first attempt was awkward. What you will care about is whether you started at all. So remember this: thinking has its place, but doing has the power. 4. Listening to negative voices. Another big reason people fail before they even start is simple: they listen to the wrong voices. And I don't mean the voice of wisdom or guidance. I'm talking about the voice of doubt, criticism, and negativity. The moment you tell someone your dream, you can almost hear it coming. That's too risky. Nobody's ever done that before. Be realistic. What if it doesn't work? And boom, just like that, the fire that was burning in your heart starts to flicker. It's like you're holding a spark, and instead of adding fuel, people throw water on it. But let me tell you something funny about these negative voices: most of them don't come from people who have actually tried. The loudest critics are usually the ones sitting on the sidelines eating popcorn. It's like someone who never played basketball telling you how to dunk, or someone who's never written a book telling you writing is impossible. Napoleon Hill said it best: opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has one, and most people give them out for free, without experience, without proof, without even trying themselves. But the dangerous part is not that these voices exist, it's that we allow them to echo inside our heads. Instead of brushing them off, we start to believe them. We replay their doubts as if they're facts. And before we've even taken our first step, we've already convinced ourselves we're not good enough. Think about this: if Thomas Edison had listened to the voices telling him to quit after failing hundreds of times, we'd probably still be living in the dark. If the Wright brothers had listened to the people who said, "Humans will never fly," you wouldn't be booking flights today. Negative voices didn't stop them, but they do stop most people. Because most people believe the wrong voices louder than they believe their own. And here's where it gets tricky. The negative voice isn't always external. Sometimes it's internal. Your own mind becomes the critic. That little whisper inside that says, "You're not smart enough. You don't have the money. You don't have the talent." Isn't it funny how we sometimes become our own worst enemy? The key is realizing that those voices are just noise, not truth. Imagine if every successful person had waited for the world's approval before starting. Nothing great would exist. The truth is, you don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need you to believe in you. And let's add some humor here. If you asked a chicken for advice about flying, of course it would say, "Don't try, it's impossible." But if you asked an eagle, it would tell you, "Spread your wings and go." The advice you listen to depends on the source. So when it comes to your dreams, stop tuning your frequency to the station of negativity. Tune into courage, faith, and possibility. Because every time you let someone else's doubts control your decisions, you're giving them the steering wheel of your destiny. 5. Lack of self-belief. If you peel back all the excuses, fear, doubt, procrastination, at the core of most failures lies one thing: a lack of belief in oneself. People don't fail because they lack intelligence or resources. They fail because deep down, or they don't believe they deserve success, or that they are capable of achieving it. Think about it. Before you even start, if your inner voice says, "I can't do this," then every step you take will be weak, hesitant, and half-hearted. It's like trying to drive with the parking brake on. You might move forward a little, but you'll burn out quickly. Napoleon Hill reminded us, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Most people get the conceive part right. They can imagine the dream, but the believe part, that's where they stumble. They picture success, but in their hearts, they don't truly believe it's possible for them. Here's the thing: self-belief is not arrogance, and it's not pretending you're perfect. It's simply the confidence that says, "I may not know everything, but I can figure it out. I may not be the best today, but I can grow into it. I may stumble, but I will rise again." Without that belief, opportunities pass you by. You see doors open, but you don't walk through them. You think, that job is for someone smarter, or that business idea is for someone richer. Meanwhile, someone with half your potential but double your belief is out there living the life you dreamed of. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Life doesn't always reward the most talented. It rewards the most confident. The world is full of geniuses who never started because they didn't believe enough to try. And it's also full of average people who achieved extraordinary things simply because they had the courage to believe they could. Imagine a child learning to walk. If that child didn't believe they could stand, they'd never take the first step. They fall, they wobble, they bump their head, but belief pushes them to get back up. Now, imagine if adults carried that same belief when chasing their dreams. Failure would be just a step, not the end. And let's have a little fun here. Believing in yourself is like having Wi-Fi. If your connection is weak, nothing loads. You click, you wait, you stare at the screen, but progress is slow. But when your belief is strong, everything flows faster, opportunities download quicker, and success streams smoothly. Self-belief is the power source of persistence. It's the fuel that keeps you moving when nothing around you gives you a reason to. Without it, you'll quit before you even start. With it, you'll endure long enough to see results. So ask yourself, are you living your life with the brakes on? Or are you ready to release them and drive forward with the belief that you can, you will, and you must? 6. Fear of failure. If there's one silent killer of dreams, it's this: the fear of failure. More people are stopped by fear than by actual failure itself. Isn't that wild? People are so afraid of falling that they never even step onto the path. It's like being invited to a dance floor, but you're too scared to move because you don't want to look silly. Meanwhile, life's music is playing, and you're sitting in the corner missing the whole party. Fear of failure is sneaky because it disguises itself as logic or realism. You say things like, "I'm just being practical," or "It's better to wait until the time is right." But if you peel back the layers, the truth is, you're scared of what might go wrong. And here's the irony. Failure isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, is built on a mountain of failures. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb in one shot. He failed over 1,000 times, but each so-called failure was just another step closer to success. Imagine if he stopped at the 10th attempt because he was afraid it might not work. We'd all be sitting in the dark, complaining about candles. The funny part, fear of failure makes you fail by default. If you don't try, you've already lost. It's like refusing to swing the bat because you're scared of striking out. You guarantee you'll never hit a home run. Now let's talk psychology for a moment. When you fear failure, your brain creates imaginary disasters. You picture yourself losing everything, people laughing at you, your dream crashing into pieces. But in reality, 99% of those nightmares never happen. The mind is a fantastic storyteller. It can make a tiny problem look like a Hollywood disaster. Think about kids again. When a toddler learns to walk, they fall constantly. Do they sit there crying, saying, "Walking isn't for me, I'm just not cut out for it"? No, they get back up, wobble, and try again. And eventually, they walk. Adults, though, the first time they fall in business, in relationships, in life, they label themselves as failures and stop trying. Why? Because fear whispered in their ear, "See, I told you this wasn't for you." But here's the truth. Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you're in motion. It means you're learning. It means you're in the game while others are sitting on the sidelines, too scared to even enter. Let me add some fun here. Imagine if every inventor stopped because of failure. Airplanes would have been called giant falling machines. Cars would have been labeled noisy carts that break down. Smartphones. Forget it. After the first software crash, they would have said, "This idea is doomed." But look around. Failure didn't stop progress. People pushed through fear. And now we live in a world full of what was once impossible. The secret isn't to eliminate fear. It's to act despite it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something else is more important than that fear. So, when you feel the fear of failure holding you back, remember this: failure is not the end. It's the beginning of wisdom. And the only true failure is never starting at all. 7. Procrastination and waiting for the perfect time. If fear is the killer of dreams, then procrastination is its sneaky twin brother. They work hand in hand. Fear whispers, "You're not ready," and procrastination says, "Don't worry, you can start tomorrow." And tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, until one day you realize, "Whoa, I never even started." The biggest lie people tell themselves is, "I'll start when the time is right." But let me tell you something, there will never be a perfect time. Never. Life doesn't hand you a golden ticket that says, "Congratulations. All conditions are now perfect for your dream. Please begin now." No. Life is messy, unpredictable, and full of interruptions. Waiting for perfect conditions is like waiting for traffic to completely disappear before driving. You'll be standing on the roadside forever. Think about how many people say, "I'll start the business when I save a little more money. I'll go to the gym when I have more energy. I'll write that book when I feel inspired." But money, energy, and inspiration don't magically show up. They're created once you start. Napoleon Hill warned us that procrastination is the thief of opportunity. Every day you wait, opportunities pass you by. The window doesn't stay open forever. And here's the funny part. While you're waiting for, someday, someone else with less talent and fewer resources is starting today. And guess what? They're the ones who win. Let's add a little humor here. Procrastination is like that friend who always says, "I'm 5 minutes away," but you know they haven't even left the house. That's what people do with their dreams. They keep saying, "I'm almost ready," but deep down, they haven't even started the engine. Here's the truth: success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who act. It's not about perfect timing. It's about perfect commitment. The most successful people you admire didn't begin under perfect circumstances. They began while they were broke, scared, or completely clueless. The difference: they started anyway. And procrastination isn't just about laziness. It's also about comfort. Starting something new is uncomfortable. Taking a risk is uncomfortable. But comfort zones are like warm beds on cold mornings. They feel good, but nothing grows there. If you want to shape your destiny, you have to step out of the blanket of comfort and face the chill of action. Think about the gym. People say, "I'll start working out when I feel fit." That's like saying, "I'll start learning to swim once I know how to swim." It doesn't make sense. You don't wait until you're fit to start. You start to become fit. The same rule applies to your goals. Don't wait until you're ready. Start, and readiness will catch up. Procrastination is the silent graveyard of potential. Dreams don't die because they're impossible. They die because people wait too long to chase them. So, stop asking, when is the right time? The right time is always the same anno. So, my friends, here's the truth. Most people fail before they even start, not because life is unfair, but because they never give themselves permission to begin. They wait for perfect timing, they fear failure, they doubt their worth. And in the process, they hand their dreams over to excuses. But you don't have to be most people. You can be the one who looks fear in the face and says, "Move aside, I've got work to do." You can be the one who acts today, not someday. Remember this: success doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for action. Even small steps taken daily will carry you further than the giant leap you're still planning in your head. And hey, let's keep it light. Life is already tough enough. Don't treat your dreams like a dentist appointment you keep postponing. Treat them like pizza. When it's in front of you, you don't wait. You grab it while it's hot. So start now. Take the shot. Write the first page, make the first call, lift the first weight. Don't wait until everything is perfect, because by the time it is, your dream might have expired like last week's milk. Choose action over excuses, courage over comfort, and progress over perfection. That's how you stop failing before you start, and start winning before the world even notices.